Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Vibes. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
America is falling, or should I say Rome is falling. We're going to go over a lot of stuff very quickly. Before we get into the gangs moving all over the US, the stock market literally lost $1 trillion today. Trillion! And literally just 1 week ago, Warren Buffett sold $980 million of shares of Bank of America. Before we go any further, this is all alleged and it's my opinion based on the news. If you know Warren Buffett, then you know it's no surprise that he was able to foresee such a crazy thing happening. Back to this, I tried to show you guys this earlier, but for some reason y'all didn't see it. It's not just in Colorado anymore. We're having reports that these gang members are also in Dallas, Texas, and Chicago. In Chicago, they had tons of police reports that there were 32 gang members that closed down a building.
Citywide person with a 124 South King Drive, color south, 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well, while they're filled.
I showed you the other police call in the last video, and now allegedly they're saying that Mexico is going to start busing them to the United States with passage, food, and etc. Whether that's true, I don't know. This is allegedly video of what happened in Chicago. I cannot confirm or deny. I can't even show you all this video, but in Dallas, Texas, a group of these people beat up a helpless man. And I can't confirm this, but this says that Chicago gangs are taking on the illegal gangs. And as of today, we have North Korea aggressively targeting the crypto industry as disguised social engineering attack. So altogether, the financial department is tanking, we're being overthrown from the inside, and North Korea is attacking the crypto industry, and now we have South Korea offering $40,000 almost for people to get married and have children there. So if you're having a hard time in the US, you could always go to South Korea. Y'all had to know 2024 was not going to leave without throwing hands, right?
Dang, shout out to Inspired by the King. I like how he said that. 2024 ain't leaving without throwing some hands. Yo, it's heating up. Gotta be safe out here. It's crazy how countries are offering dough for people to move there because of low birth rate. Heard the same things happening in Japan. But $1 trillion in a day? Bruh, the stock market is getting crazy. Buffett definitely knows something. Now he's selling Bank of America.
Let's go to Aurora, Colorado. I kept seeing the reports of Venezuelan gangs taking over. So being a former 911 operator, I felt like I needed to go take a peek for myself. So this is one of the apartment complexes that was all over the news. It is completely fenced off. And from what I could see, there was nobody in or around. And then I was just kind of like browsing around just the general area because all over the news, I kept seeing like signs that were posted and I wanted to take a peek for myself. It looks like a lot of those signs were removed. These are the apartment complexes off of 12th and Dallas. I was able to convince my husband to drive down the alley reluctantly. This is the one where there was people walking around with weapons and going up to people's doors. The alley there was trash everywhere and it smelled so bad. Like this whole area was filled with trash and it looks like they haven't picked it up in months. There was a lot of like random writing on different cars. And then there was just trash filling the ground, like on the other side of the car. And then, of course, that is stopped by Denver. This place used to be absolutely beautiful back in the day, and now there's just like holes. It's pretty run down and torn down. And then by the Capitol in Denver, there was all these signs. So I just took some video of that. It looks like all the homeless encampments that used to be lining the streets here have been moved. And I don't know where they were moved to, but I didn't see any.
Shout out to Jules Crawford on the ground in Aurora, Colorado, showing us what's really going on. Look like everything's fenced off.
Now what's this? Ah, look at this. We've got a Walcott Hotel vehicle of some kind. It says employee parking permit. So they're moving people. Ah, here's the Army again. So what is the Army doing here, gentlemen? What is the U.S. Army doing at this hotel, gentlemen? Can you tell me? Mr. Rodriguez, can you tell me what the Army is doing here? Why don't you guys tell me what the Army is doing here?
You guys can talk to my chain of command.
Who?
My chain of command.
Who's the commanding officer in this hotel? Excuse me, Marine. I demand to speak to your commanding officer. Why are you walking away from me? You are in violation of the law, sir. You're in violation of the United States Constitution and the Posse Comitatus Act. Who's the commanding officer at this facility? I demand that you tell me. Who is the commanding officer at this facility? I demand to know! Who is in charge? Who is the military person in charge here? Who is the military? Call the cops. Call them now. Who is the military person in charge? Who is the military person in charge of this facility? Get them here now. Don't tell me bye. Don't tell me. Call the cops.
All right.
Call the cops.
Okay, no problem.
Get them here right now. I want to know who is in charge. What's your name? What's your name, kiddo? Flip that around. Flip that tag around. Neighborhood Association for Intercultural Affairs. You're breaking the law, bro. Okay. So now we got some more information about what's going on over there. You live in that hotel? Este hotel está para tú? Sí, it is. Aha, he lives in there. That guy lives there. Okay. So now we've got the military protecting foreign invaders. 3 out of 4 arrests by the NYPD are being made by these people. So we've got individual members of the United States military facilitating and participating in an invasion. And that guy calls the cops on me.
Now things sure got tense right there. They had to call the police. Maybe they're running a covert operation. Don't want anybody to know what's going on. Shout out to John Goodman and crowdsourcing the truth.
Is there anything occultic or dangerous about Smurfs?
Well, Smurfs happens to be the most popular Saturday morning cartoon since the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner hour. It's just entered into a long-term run, and it's hit an hour and a half on Saturday morning cartoon. But there are some things about Smurfs that we need to look at. First of all, you'll notice that they're depicted as blue with black lips.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you know what happens to you when you die? You turn blue and your lips turn black.
In other words, these are depictive of dead creatures.
Right. And another thing is that Smurfs is an all-male community. And you say, oh, there's Smurfette. She's a female. Well, in one cartoon, she was depicted as transforming from a male to a female through magical power. And so the only female in the Smurfs is transformed from a male. She was not born a female.
No, what you're telling me then is that even Smurfs carry a homosexual connotation in that most of them are male.
I believe so.
But we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are leading that direction.
Well, let's take another look at Smurfs. Because the Smurfs cartoon, the whole storyline is that the Smurfs get in trouble. And every time they get in trouble, they run to Papa Smurf, who whips up a spell or an incantation to get them out. In fact, he's said the name Beelzebub numerous times in the cartoon. And he whips up this spell or incantation and draws them out of their problems through witchcraft. And then they have an enemy called Gargamel. Now, Gargamel, in a recent episode, I saw him draw a 5-pointed star, the pentagram, on the ground.
Right.
He lit candles at each point, which is an actual witchcraft practice. He started to dance inside the pentagram, chanting a magical chant. At that point, a book opened up across the room, and something left the book and entered his physical body, giving him power to levitate and to do battle against the Smurfs.
Oh, no. So we can say that Smurfs has gone occultic.
Very much so.
I don't know if that's true or not. I wasn't a fan of the Smurfs. I was more into G.I. Joe, Thundercats, and stuff like that. It's fascinating that they was having this conversation back then. It looked like the 80s, if you ask me. I'm sure people used to look at them like, man, what the heck are you talking about? Now it's not taboo at all. People are raising questions on everything.
The mysterious noise coming from the Boeing Starliner, where 2 astronauts are currently stranded, has been identified.
There's a strange noise coming through the speaker.
After being told they will not return to Earth until 2025, NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore had another terrifying 24 hours in space after hearing a pulsing noise coming through the craft's speaker. NASA have now confirmed that the sound was the result of an audio configuration between the space station and the Starliner. The astronauts are currently unable to return home due to multiple technical failures with the Boeing spacecraft, but NASA insists the noise was common to hear and had no impact on the crew.
If the noise is so common, why are the astronauts God's questioning it. That's crazy. They're not coming back till 2025. I hope they make it back safely.
The series you've all been waiting for, AD, After Disclosure. In this series, we're going to discuss President Eisenhower meeting with aliens in Palm Springs, some of the ET races in contact with humanity. But let's pick up where we left off in the Earthshift series. How according to Conversations with Nostradamus Book 2 by Dolores Cannon, when John the Astrologer does a future hypnotic progression to the year 2087, and he finds out that ET species helped us through the Earthshift, and said, we are now part of the Galactic Federation, one of its newest members. The requirement for membership into the Galactic Federation, in order to be a member of the Galactic Federation, you must know the plan of the Creator, follow the plan of the Creator to be a part of one galaxy consciousness. I'd like to remind you that this book was published in 1987. Now, you might remember in the year 2020, when the former Israeli space security chief said that there was a Galactic Federation. He said that President Trump wanted to reveal the information about aliens to the public, but that the Galactic Federation said that humanity was not ready and it would cause chaos. Those of you familiar with the Ra material, The Law of One, published in 1984, Ra says, I am one of the members of the Confederation of Planets in service to the infinite creator. In this book called The Invitation, published in 1974, he talks of a confederation of planets working together to help humanity. And a similar confederation comes up in the Council of Seven Lights, published in 1958.
Remember, what you're saying is that you do not believe there are extraterrestrial races out there that would try to contaminate us or kill us with special pathogens or viruses.
All I'm saying is there are races out there that could possibly do that, but they're not allowed to.
By,
I think, some sort of galactic federation. One of the reasons why we could call it Galactic Federation, because they sometimes call themselves this way. I don't know if they do it in order to communicate with people, or if they really name themselves this way. I don't know that.
Those were clips from Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia TV. Here's a clip from the Hannibal TV on YouTube, where he's interviewing the former Canadian Minister of Defense.
I only know about the Galactic Federation, and I don't know much about it, so I shouldn't talk about it. But they are concerned about what's going on in the world, and they have been working through individuals.
It's an intuitively structured system to organize the chaos of the universe.
And that was a definition of it channeled by Elizabeth April. And before you say they're bad, Rick is a galactic criminal, okay? Wait, but before you go, make sure you check out Galactic Federation of Light clothing for light workers and star seeds. I've been working with this company for almost a year now. I absolutely love their clothes. I basically live in these galactic sweatpants. They're a family-owned brand, and I just love them so much. I've gotten to know them. So if you like it, use the link in my bio or go to galacticfederationoflightclothing.com and get a free hat if you use my code JKUltra.
Shout outs to JK Ultra breaking down the Galactic Federation, sounding some Star Trek Next Generation stuff right here. The first part of AD, After Disclosure, discussing the Galactic Federation. Very interested to learn more about this.
Forget what you know about the Mafia. These days, it's not the Russians or the Italians keeping global law enforcement up at night. It's the Nigerian Mafia. You see, the dreaded Black Axes, who are infamous for their extreme violence, didn't get their start like other crime groups. They began as a student fraternity that evolved into a global cult, spanning across Africa, Europe, Asia, and North America. But because many Axemen are university educated and early adopters of new technologies, the online scams that they carry out are so sophisticated that, according to Interpol, they've become responsible for the majority of the world's cyber-enabled financial fraud. You got a scam email recently? The chances are it's probably from them. Even the BBC's latest report reads, World's police in technological arms race with Nigerian Mafia. In fact, they've become so powerful that in the last few months, police units from around the world joined forces to carry out raids in 21 different countries. And in one case alone in 2017, Canadian authorities said that they had busted a money laundering scheme linked to Black Axes worth more than $5 billion, with a B. And that's just one case. And no, it's not just online scams. They do all of the same horrific things that other crime groups do. Human trafficking, rape, murder, drugs, kidnapping, you get the point. Over the past decade, Black Axe has become one of the most far-reaching and dangerous organized crime groups in the world.
Y'all gotta see this thing right here in Mexico. I don't know what part of Mexico this is in, but this is off the coast. This is off the coast of Mexico, y'all. Check this out. This is, if this isn't proof enough, y'all gotta see this, man. Y'all want to talk about what happened to the dinosaurs? What happened to the dinos? Check this out, y'all. Gonna zoom in. You know Google play with that, man. Check this out. This should look crazy. Y'all can see people just there walking. This road look deserted as hell. Look at that. They got the cones up, right? Because they don't want people to cross. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. Do y'all see that? Bro. What? It looks mixing with the cave and everything. Petrified. Look at that. I mean, just them having the cones there warning people not to go around the area, y'all. But look at this. That shit looks just like the lizard off of Spider-Man. That's crazy, man. Bro, that's the real dinosaurs. I'm not trying to figure out, like, how do these people know where to go to find these things? But then again, there's like a whole page dedicated to these people looking on Google Maps to see what's actually there. Because a lot of our reality is actually hidden from us. All the lies they tell us in school and books and church and work and all these type of things, we have no idea what our reality really consists of. But let me know what you guys think about this video. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times. If y'all want that deeper esoteric knowledge, y'all go make sure to follow me on my YouTube and also my Patreon. I can't let it all fly on TikTok. You already know what's up. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. Let's get this shift. Peace out.
Google Maps is a fool. Shout out to Conscious Juice. That look like a dragon. That's crazy. Like, why would it have that in there? Teeth and all. I'm surprised people ain't take pictures of it themselves. Curious to know, why haven't I seen other pictures of this floating around?
Now, if this was a quarry, wouldn't that go? But how do you move the machinery if you've got a blinking wall in the way? But in fact, how do you even get the machinery in there if you've got that wall there? So it's just heavily bushed up. And when I mean that, it's just full of trees and leaves, basically, just to cover this up. Look at that. But that little section down there, it's nothing to do with this bit here. Nothing to do with it whatsoever. Completely different block. Here we go. Completely different. It's like there's a little ledge. But what would be down there? Because in my eyes it was collecting water because the chase mark had a fall on it. So obviously I'm going to use the word gravity, but for water, gravity fed, right? So if you just slant the pipe a little bit, the water will go from A to B. If the pipe's straight, the water will just sit inside it. You get me? So that's why the chase mark, and I'm calling these chase marks for water because they have a fall on them. And also you can see here where these are megalithic blocks, megalithic, but they're just so big that they're so abundant everywhere that we're just calling it natural. But yeah. Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. Now, how would you get this health sign so flush if you was using hand tools? Don't make sense, does it? So, let's walk around the quarry, shall we? So, what's going on here? If this is a sandstone structure, then why is it like this? Clearly this is done in sections, and this is part of some old world living. Again, you can see these. The bottom one is for water, where Abby's head is near. You can see that running around, and the other ones are just crack marks or joint marks, not cracks, where it's been poured into sections. Because like I said before, you can't pour the whole thing in one hit. What if you've done a mistake? So it's best off to do bit by bit. Phenomenal, eh? And I just can't believe people haven't seen this before. Why is no one clocking this stuff?
As we talked about, there was a treaty made that allowed for aliens to abduct U.S. citizens. Let's talk about the Area 51 caller. Coast to Coast AM, an AM radio show. It was originally hosted by Art Bell, and we referenced this in part 1 and 2 of the Apocalypse series because he was the person who interviewed Malachi Martin. But in 1997, an Area 51 employee, former recently discharged employee, called into the live show to expose what was happening.
A former employee. I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Oh man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon. Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment. Will be more easily controllable.
You're going to need to go to YouTube to listen to the full thing. Type in Area 51 caller because the entire radio station gets knocked off air. Was it the government? Was it aliens? A couple weeks later, another person called claiming that it was a hoax and they were the one who pretended to be the caller. So Art is like, I don't know, that person seemed pretty scared. Can you reenact it for me? Because that was really good acting. Mind you, the guy sounds nothing like the original guy. The guy attempts to do it, but it sounds terrible. And that doesn't explain how the whole entire station got kicked off the air. I don't believe it was a hoax. But notice how he says they made contact with an earlier precursor of the space program, and that these beings were not what they claimed to be. And according to Behold the Pale Horse, there was 2 races of aliens that were trying to make a deal with our government at that time. One that promised weapons and technology in exchange for abductions, and a seemingly positive race of humanoid aliens who did not make a deal with the space program, who wanted to help us spiritually advance. And I believe it was that race of aliens who took over a British news station in 1977. That's coming up right now.
Radio stations getting knocked off the air while frantic callers are calling in to a news station getting knocked off the air in 77. The frantic caller. I've never heard that conversation before. That was pretty amazing just to hear that. He did sound scared. Shout out to JK Ultra.
September 4th, 2024, and we have some tragic breaking news. Authorities are currently responding to an active shooter incident at Apalachee High School in Barrow County, Georgia. There are reports of several injuries. Apalachee High School is approximately 45 miles outside of Atlanta. Some reports are coming in from local media sources that this is a large-scale tragedy. CNN has reported that the local hospitals are receiving multiple people with gunshot wounds after the shooting at Apalachee High School. Several helicopters are in the air over Apalachee High School and the grounds. The following footage is from one of those local reporters. Please keep everyone involved in your thoughts and prayers, including their families and the first responders. As of noon Eastern Time, it is being reported that the authorities have a suspect in custody.
So students at Apalachee High, so it's a pretty big student body, and you can see the number of cars there, students and staff cars, people who would have shown up for a typical Wednesday school day, but this day is turning out to be anything but typical. If there's
Law enforcement is responding to an incident at Apalachee High School in Georgia. This school is in the town of Winder in Barrow County between Atlanta and Athens. Students are now gathering at the football field amid a heavy police presence. Our Atlanta affiliate reports the school is on a hard lockdown as officers now investigate. ABC's Phil Lipoff is with me here on set. Phil, what's the latest on this?
Well, Diane, what we know right now is pretty much what you just said. And we want to be careful with the details because we don't want to alarm anybody any more than they need to be. But obviously, the parents of hundreds of high school students are concerned right now. You can see there is a massive police presence just outside of this school, which is just outside of Atlanta. This has been going on now for about 45 minutes to an hour. As you said, it is a massive lockdown and the kids are out of the school. We don't know what has happened inside the school just yet. We're getting reports, but we're not going to report anything that we have not confirmed.
Shout out to Apalachee High School. To all the students, faculty, and parents, our prayers are with you. Pray there's no casualties. It's too early for this. School just started.
I told y'all 2024 is going to be a doozy and all the truth is going to come to the surface. The Vatican admits, just by the looks of things, that Jesus is not coming back. Now that's crazy. I wonder if Jesus actually called the Vatican or talked to the Pope, because he's supposed to be the vicar of Christ, and actually told him this himself. The Vatican has officially announced that the second coming of Jesus, the only Son of God, may not happen now after all, but urge followers to still continue with their faith regardless of the news. So you mean to tell me y'all know that this individual is fake, but you still want people to go to church, pay their tithes, and give their energy to some unknown entity that they've never seen or met in real life? This year's 1981st anniversary is to be the Vatican's last in regards to waiting for the Lord to return. So even the Vatican is not waiting for Jesus anymore. And a lot of Christians, y'all still are? We just feel that Jesus is not coming back by the looks of it, he said. They say it has been ages, over 24 years to be exact, because he was supposed to come back in the year 2000, right? And he's most likely out there doing really good things somewhere else. Not only that, they also defending his broken promise, claiming he was probably drinking wine at the time when he made the comment, and then further saying that we all make promises that we can't keep when we're drunk. Jesus was no different. That's crazy. If that isn't gaslighting to the fullest. The church said it will now focus attention on rebuilding its reputation around the world, but will keep an optimistic mind for the Savior's second coming. So basically, they want you to keep going to church and keep paying the money. Keep making the church rich because they need you. They need your energy. Think about it. The church wouldn't exist without people. They need you in order for them to stay relevant. You are the energy source that they need, as well as your money in order to stay relevant. And now people are waking up and realizing that the Bible is just an astrological book that's solely related to the mind, body, and soul. It's just a book of stories. That's why they have to grasp your mind when you're young, because when you're young, you're so impressionable and you stick to those things. I wish a lot of Christians would also study psychology instead of just the Bible. Then maybe a lot of you guys would know what's really happening in this world. But let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, comment, and share for more videos like this. This is strictly for entertainment purposes only, y'all. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times. And let's continue to get this shift, y'all. Age of Aquarius, where all the truths are coming to the surface. Peace in.
Shout out to Conscious Juice, man. Now that's crazy. Why would the Vatican throw him under the bus like that, saying he was probably drunk? Like, yo, that's crazy. You know, a lot of people look towards them for guidance in these crazy times. It's like you just snuff out their faith like that, man. Why don't you open up them closets and all them gates and stuff, them dungeons? Open up the secrets then. If he ain't coming back and we want to know the secrets.
It'll be 30 years before this information makes it into the textbooks. The implications of this find are absolutely stunning, if you understand what a toroid is. First, I want everyone to see and acknowledge what I have been telling you for years now. The Milky Way galaxy is a toroid. What is a toroid? A toroid is the mechanism that turns an acorn into an oak tree. A toroid is the mechanism that turns a sperm cell into a human being in the womb. The fact that the star is a toroid is what allows it to turn into a black hole so that a galaxy can form at all. Did you know? This is exciting news, because what does it mean? Well, it literally means that the Milky Way galaxy is a seed that's going to turn into something else. That the Milky Way galaxy as we know it is not the end product. The Milky Way galaxy as we know it is the prequel to what it is going to become. The fact that a seed is a toroid is what allows it to ascend levels to become an oak tree. Let me show you this again. This is the Milky Way galaxy, as I have stated repeatedly. This is the whole universe, fam. Nested toroids I have maintained this whole time. And I say logically because it must be so. There's no other way. And people are like, well, what does that mean? According to logic and reason, the universe is a toroid. The galaxy is a toroid. The earth is a toroid. You are a toroid. A sperm cell is a toroid. A bacteria is a toroid. An atom is a toroid. A subatomic particle is a toroid. It's all toroids. And a toroid is like unto a seed, so that whatever you're looking at right now, that's not what that thing actually is. Whatever you're looking at is in the process of becoming. What? What's it becoming? Well, that matters what it is now. It matters what it's going to become. A seed of wheat will become a wheat plant. An acorn will become an oak tree. A sperm cell will become a human on this level. And there's no way that there's not an afterlife because we're toroids. And toroids exist to move things up so that they can manifest on a higher level than they began. That's what everything is doing right now, is working on becoming what it's going to be in the same way that a seed is doing that to become a plant. The seed must first grow to maturity, fall into the ground and die, and then it can be born a plant. It's got to endure to the end of what it is first so that the process of the toroidal vortex can complete. You cannot move up from a seed to a plant or from a sperm to a human, except you follow the instructions all the way to the end. Because it is a process, and the process must be completed to spit out the product. So that the Milky Way galaxy is like an acorn. What's it gonna become, boys and girls? Well, Jesus told us all about it. He said the heavens are gonna wax old, and that he'd fold them up just like a garment. Why does the galaxy have to wax old? I've told you this part too. When I say toroid, I mean spring, summer, fall, and winter. You gotta wax old. Entropy is part of the equation of the toroid. But death is only an illusion, you see. A human gets old and starts losing their energy, but where's it going? Winter must come before spring can bloom again. This is just logic. Okay, the Milky Way galaxy is a toroid, which means by nature that it is like unto a seed that is in the process of growing and maturing so that it can die to be born again as something else. It must be so according to logic and reason because, once again, the Milky Way galaxy is a toroid, and that's what toroids do. Because the equation or the process of every toroid, including Sagittarius A, the black hole at the center of the galaxy, is simply birth, growth, entropy, and death. And if you follow the rules all the way to the end of the process, you get to be born again with life much more abundantly, like a sperm turning into a human, or an acorn turning into an oak tree. These examples are very boring now. Old, I've used them too much. You wish I'd give you more examples? Pick what you like, and that's a toroid. And it works in the example. Pick what you want. But why is everything a toroid? Well, look, the distribution of mass and energy is the same to scale on all levels. And what do I mean by levels? Well, from an atom to a bacteria, the ratio of energy to mass on the atomic scale is the same distribution. It's the same ratio of energy and mass on the bacteria scale. It's the same ratio on the human scale. It's the same ratio on the scale of the Earth. The distribution of mass and energy is the same ratio when you're talking about the whole solar system. It's the same ratio with the galaxy or the entire universe. No matter what level of size you're looking at, the distribution of energy and mass is the same ratio every time. When you add to this the fact that the laws of physics dictate how everything behaves on every level, you can understand that everything is just Russian nesting dolls. What do I mean? The laws of physics organizing the energy and mass into the same structure from the macro all the way down to the micro. One kind of structure repeated over and over because the laws of physics dictate how everything organizes and behaves, and the distribution of energy and mass is the same on every level. It literally is Russian nesting dolls. I'm not stretching that at all. The laws of physics organize the distribution of energy and mass into the same structure over and over and over. It just gets smaller from universe down to subatomic particle. It's all toroids because the laws of physics organize the energy and mass into toroids. That is the structure of everything is toroidal. Once more, because the laws of physics organize the energy and mass the same way on every level. It must be so. It is completely logical. There is no argument against what I'm telling you here, unless academic science is all false. Do you see? Mueller. Somebody tell Ben Stein I love him all to pieces. Side quest, I watched this man get Richard Dawkins to admit to intelligent design out of his own mouth of his own free volition. It was hilarious. Well, perhaps if we look at the DNA, we would see some sort of signature. Perhaps some super advanced race of aliens came and began life on our planet with seeds. They themselves having evolved from natural processes, of course. Who seeded their planet, Richard Dawkins? Don't you know infinite regression is illogical? Ben Stein does. Now I say with confidence, as academia chases things I've been telling you for years, they'll never catch up to me, fam. I already know the very end of it all. The equation's already solved. But they're working on it. I already know the whole answer, and it's not a secret. I'm not special. It's been written down in a book for 2,000 years at least. Bunch of books older than that try to talk about it, make a big mess of it, get it all wrong entirely. Only one book tells the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Only one word, his name is Jesus. I don't care what y'all say. This doesn't relate to that. Yes, it does. How you think I know all this? Who you think's telling me all this? Do I hear voices? Nah, this stuff just pops up in my head as thoughts. I say them for a few years, and I'll wait on science to confirm it so you'll all believe me, I guess. Let me just tell y'all the whole thing one more time. The universe is a toroid. Every structure in the universe is also a toroid because the distribution of energy and mass is the same on every level, and the laws of physics organize everything into what it's going to be. And it picks toroids. That's what the laws of physics do, is makes toroids out of energy and mass. What are toroids? Toroids are likened to seeds. They are born, they grow, they get old, and they die, which is known as maturing. And if they die, they bring forth much fruit. How? They get to be born again on a higher level, with a much bigger body and higher functions. In reality, the entire universe and everything in it is organizing towards perfection, because that's what toroids do. And if an organism, and every organism is a toroidal by nature, if an organism fails to endure to the end of the process, fails to keep the instructions God has given it, it will perish. But death is an illusion, see? And there is a place for the energy and mass that won't move up, that won't obey, that won't endure to the end, it won't ascend. There is a place for that energy and mass to go. Energy can neither be created or destroyed because it was all finished on the 6th day, and on the 7th day God rested. It's all done. The universe is a closed system, and it happens to be a toroid full of toroids. And this symbol right here explains what the entire universe and everything in it is doing. God creates the darkness, God forms the light in it, and then divides the light from it, you see. The universe is approaching the steady state of equilibrium, where the light will eternally be separated from the darkness forever. And the darkness will still exist, and the light will still exist. And in the light will be all light, and in the dark will be all darkness. And it matters what you believe and do upon the face of this earth, I guarantee it. By all observation, logic, and reason, it must be so. There is an afterlife because we're all toroids. There's no way around that. And there is life after life, and there is death after death, and I'm talking about light and darkness. And it's as real as you can imagine, more real than you can ever imagine, both ways. Eternal light, eternal darkness. Pick one. Everyone is free to choose. I suggest you choose Jesus Christ and his gospel. He is the light.
Shout outs to Dead Hidden. That was a great one, discussing toroids. How everything pretty much is a toroid. According to the Chinese Academy of Sciences, this is 6 to 50,000 light years away. How do you even come up with that number? Interesting.
Okay, so let's jump in right where we left off. In 1977, during British nightly news, someone, this has still never been explained, no one has ever been caught for this, something took over the news with this message. Okay, so unfortunately, this video was taken down for copyright issues, so I'm gonna redo it without the audio. But make sure you go to YouTube and listen for yourself because it sounds so cool and kind of creepy. He calls himself Vrilon, a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command. We're going to get more into this when we get into the alien races, but it's believed that the Ashtar Command is a part of the Galactic Federation, and that Ashtar is from this star system, the Pleiades. A race of humanoid aliens are believed to come from this star system and want to help us with our spiritual development. So they want to warn us of the destiny of our race and world, and how to avoid disaster. That as the planet passes through the age of Aquarius, a new age is going to happen. That it could be a time of great peace, but that the rulers must be aware of the evil forces that are overshadowing their judgment. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The human race must pass through higher stages of evolution. Small groups are learning about the light of the dawning of the new age. You are free to accept or reject the teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass to the higher realms of spiritual evolution. There are many false prophets and guides operating your world, and they will suck energy from you, the energy you call money. Your inner divine self will protect you. You must learn to be sensitive to the voice within, as it can tell you the truth. Learn to listen to the voice of truth within you, and it will lead you to the path of evolution. We have watched you from our lights in the sky. Know that we are here, and there are more beings on and around your earth than your scientists will admit. We are deeply concerned about your path towards the light, and we will do anything we can to help. Have no fear, seek only to know yourselves and to live in harmony. May you be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos. Sounds a lot like everything we talked about in the Earthshift series. Now what's interesting is not everyone heard the same name. Some people heard Asteron, and some people heard Brahma, which is very close to Brahma, the Sanskrit word for creator. The newscaster came back on and said it was a hoax, but people didn't believe it. Then they went back to their regularly scheduled programming. Me checking if it says tunes or tunes. Just saying they had a very similar message to the humanoid aliens that also tried to make a deal with the government.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you haven't already, please take a second
just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell,
just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. So what we're gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Until next time.